Good morning, sixth graders. Before we move forward with point of view, turn to the Tuesday Independent Station page from yesterday with those 3 multiple choice questions. We're going to review a couple things and then fix our answers at the bottom, and that's going to be our exit ticket today. So pay close attention as I guide you into probably a stronger answer than what you had yesterday. So the first question was, what was Brian's point of view on divorce? Yeah, he hates divorce because of the bad experiences that he's had with it. So now we're going to skip over to number 3. Which piece of evidence best supports the answer to number 1? Underline the word supports, and then above it, annotate the question and write the words backup. Because whenever I'm asked to support my answer, I know that the evidence from the text I choose really has to back up whatever my thought was. So which of these 3 pieces of evidence really backs up the idea that Brian hates divorce because of all the bad experiences he's had with it? Yep, that is B, the breaking and shattering of all solid things. His home, his life, all the solid things, divorce. So now this is the part that got tricky. I'm going to give you some tips, and you are going to flip to the back of your packet and rewrite it completely on the back today. Explain how this evidence supports the answer to number 1. Be sure to restate. Okay, so already what should restating look like? Good. Yeah, you should say this evidence supports the answer to number 1 because. So you need to connect this to this. I'm going to read this evidence again. The breaking and shattering of all solid things. His home, his life, all the solid things. Divorce. So I read that evidence and know that it's strong because while my answer says that Brian has had all these bad experiences with divorce that make him hate it, this evidence is actually really detailing. To detail something means to give details. It's detailing those bad experiences and showing me why he hates them. It talks about his home and his life and how they became broken and shattered because of divorce. So now that I just sort of let you know a little bit how you should be connecting this and this, make sure you remember very closely the advice I just gave you, and I want you to rewrite your answer to number 1. Where you're actually going to do that is, I said at the back, but what I meant, if you flip 2 pages in, right here, there's a ton of blank space at the bottom of a number 4. And here's what I want you to write. Write this right here. Rewrite from Tuesday, and then start your answer. This evidence supports the answer to number 1 because, and then go ahead and I want at least 2 or 3 sentences to jot down the things that we just talked about. This is going to be graded. Write it down right here. Unpause the video when you are done. Okay, so if you are done with that, then go back up to where it says Wednesday Independent Station. I know we're doing a lot of skipping around in the packet, so make sure you really are listening to instructions. We're going to skip over passage number 1 and go to passage number 2 about Mrs. Kirstings. Listen closely while I read, and you're going to answer questions about point of view. Mrs. Kirstings placed the math exam on Jenna's paper face down so that no one around could see her grade. Mrs. Kirstings was always very careful so as not to let students see anyone else's grades, especially if they were low. When Jenna saw her failing grade, she stuffed it in her backpack so as to put it out of her memory. Jenna asked the teacher if she could go to the bathroom and spent a few moments crying, concerned about how this grade would affect her report card, and therefore her chance of getting into a good high school next year. All right, so what is Jenna's point of view about grades? A, grades are very important because if you don't do well, your parents may be mad at you. B, grades are not important. C, getting good grades is important, especially because of the way it has an impact on your future. Number 2, what strategy, and so you'll notice I'm not giving you the answers to these ones. These will be graded tonight as well. What strategy does the author use to reveal that point of view? So whatever you put as an answer here, think, okay, how did I know that that was Jenna's point of view? What did the author do to show me that those are her thoughts and feelings? Did the author use A, dialogue, B, inner dialogue, C, character reactions to a conflict, D, sharing of a flashback or past experiences? Number 3, what piece of evidence best supports your answer to number 2? So again, supports means to back up. Go ahead and annotate that in the question. Take a look again at what you chose right here to number 2 and think, all right, what piece of evidence is this strategy? A, Mrs. Cursings placed the math exam on Jenna's paper face down so that no one around could see her grade. Concerned about how this grade would affect her report card, Jenna asked the teacher if she could go to the bathroom and spent a few moments crying. So instead of answering number 4 right here, just go ahead and leave that blank because remember, today I'm going to be looking at these 3 multiple choice questions and then your rewrite from yesterday right here. Independently read now that you're done.